I paint pretty pictures. Perfect technique. Good use of materials. I did everything my teachers told me to do. Pretty little pictures. This one I did for Chase. This one for Vanderpool. Oh, there's a teacher in every one of you. But not one of you that cries out, "Oh, Keith!" I have things in my head, shapes that no one has taught me how to draw. I have feelings inside no one's told me how to get out. Shapes and feelings that are me. These pretty little pictures are not me. They are teachers and other artists done to sell, to make money, to make a living. There's nothing wrong with making a living. One must live. I can teach, but what do I teach? Art? What is that? Now, sometimes you just wonder, why? What is the use to paint their way just to sell their stuff? There's something inside I have got to let out. What? And how? And why is this desire inside of me? Why is it there? Just to drive me crazy? Well, it's working. I will not be mediocre. I will not do anything that is not exceptional. And the only way I'm going to find out what the hell that is to just do it. And what if we can't make a living out of it? Well, we don't know if we don't try, now do we, Missy? No sense in having ghosts around. Out! Start over with the barest materials, charcoal and paper. Black and white. Black and white until I can't say what I want to say without using color. Oh, like learning to walk again, but they're going to be my steps. Mine. Me. And it was. Or was it Stieglitz? Hello. I am Georgia O'Keeffe. I'm a painter. I am an American painter. I am dead. I am here because I have a bit of a puzzle to solve, some questions to answer. There seems to be a sort of confusion in the world, and not just the art world, over who is responsible for my success. I recently heard a woman remark, a regular everyday sort of woman. Perhaps it was one of you. Georgia O'Keeffe. Why, she's only famous because her husband took those naked pictures of her. Well, you can imagine that sort of talk might irritate one, especially if one were dead and couldn't easily do something about it. And so, peace eludes me with that insistent question. What's that they say when someone kicks the bucket? Oh, they're at peace now. Horseshit. You see, when I gave myself that little exhibit back in 1915, I was consumed with a feeling that there was something more, that I had not touched that part of me that wanted and needed to come out. I know that some of you might know what I'm talking about. Or else why would you be here? And so I started over with my art, started finding my own voice, and then I met him and things got complicated. You all know who I am, don't you? Well, if you don't, you should. Your modern art knowledge is a mite dim. Just trot yourself over to the nearest museum. They should have something of mine, a good reproduction anyway. Oh, and don't you know they're all over the place. Books, calendars, dolls. Yes, O'Keeffe dolls, can you imagine? Or take out that little plastic rectangle phone thingy that you can't live without and ask it to show you an O'Keeffe. But not now. Put those silly things away or there shall be consequences. Painting was my life, and I lived a long time, some 98 years and a lot of work to show for it. I deserve everything I got in life because I worked hard for it. You can have anything you want, you know. It's just a matter of choice. Might have to give up a thing or two, but for myself, I have no regrets, none. I refuse to regret anything. Choice. It's all a matter of choice. One must choose. Alfred or my art, Alfred or New Mexico, Alfred or my sanity. Oh, now you want me to go. You're sure? Well, now I'll stay if you want. Alfred, are you sure? Okay. This means a lot to me. Oh, I know you know that. You know I couldn't decide to go until you had decided. I feel like you've given me this great gift of myself. No, I bet that I write you first, you old crow, you. I love you too. In my lifetime, I didn't let many people in, even less after Alfred died. That was my choice. But perhaps that is why now I find myself in front of an audience. Perhaps I need you. Isn't that funny? Perhaps I need your objective view. I don't know. Personally, the idea of my life on a stage is a pretty strange thing. But I guess it's all part of this deaf business, do you think? Okay. I was born November 15th, 1887 in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. My mother came of good Hungarian stock, and my father was as Irish as how, when, where I was born is unimportant and dull, dull, dull. It's the choices I made and how I made them that should be of interest. I grew up pretty much like everybody else. If you want the details, go to a bookstore or brass the thing, but not now. Well, I bet you are wondering. I mean, you must think I look pretty damn good for somebody who's been dead about 36 or 37 years, eh? Well, I'll tell you, given the choice of appearances, I chose a time when I was rather striking, don't you think? But there was a time when I was rather fetching. I was freshly in love with Alfred Stieglitz. My body awakening to that marvelous man. Oh, we do have a lot of ground to cover. Let's see. It had been suggested that I study at the Art Students League in New York. I hadn't liked the Institute of Chicago, so I went to New York. Now, it's my first time in the city, New York City, the big city. Oh, excuse me, I almost stepped on... Eugene, what are you doing sprawled all over the stairs? Why would I want to come sit for you when I can go to my own drawing class? What? Oh, let me get this straight. You are going to be a famous painter, and I'm going to be an art teacher at some remote girls' school in the South. And so I might as well sit for you. Well, thank you for the fortune, Jeannie, and believe me, I'm truly flattered but bored. Goodbye. Look, I'll tell you what. If the model in my class is ugly, I'll come sit for you. You'll be in what studio? Fine. The model in my class wasn't ugly. He was repulsive. And so I went and sat for Eugene Spiker, and he quickly did my portrait, probably because he had it worked out in his head already. Then, a group of boys from the league ran in, asked if we wanted to go down to 291, the Stieglitz Gallery, to see the Rodin exhibit. Now, I had heard about this Alfred Stieglitz from my instructors. Rather, I was warned about him. He was a renegade, they said, a revolutionary photographer at the forefront of that god-awful modernist movement. A big talker who liked to argue. I found out that was why the boys were going, to heat up Stieglitz and watch him boil. Now, 291 was located at 291 Fifth Avenue, known simply as 291. We arrived, took the little elevator up, and the man they'd been talking about, Stieglitz, was coming from a back room with a dripping negative in his hand. I had never seen anything quite like him before. He was, well, now you have to imagine, bristly, silvery hair going in every which way, piercing eyes through pince-nez glasses, straw-like mustache, obviously annoyed at a group of noisy young people. Yes, what is it? The Rodins? Over there. Don't touch anything. From where? Art Students League. Oh, God, help us. Oh, of course. You know more than anyone what art is. Of course you study at the League. I bet you study under the tutelage of the great William Merritt Chase. Yes, well, tell him for me that the top hat he put his fist through the last time he was here is still sitting in my office waiting for him. He can pick it up anytime he likes. So tell me, is this art? Oh, scribbly lines. How very perceptive. What a grasp of terminology you have. The artist had his eyes shut. Brilliant lad, you sad sophomore. I suppose your professors consider this a joke. Perhaps the great sculptor is fooling the public. Oh, a joke on me. Well, now that's already been said. Surely you could come up with something more original than that. But that is why you are students. If you would dare consider your professors were fooling you, if you would dare paint what came from your heart instead of vomiting reproductions onto the canvas, this is truth. Truth. That is what this sculptor has done in a few simple lines and a wash of color. He has told the story of a life force that springs off the paper. That is art. Truth. It comes from the heart, from the soul. But you're too young and stupid to understand that. Go on, get out. You pollute these rooms with your ignorance. Go on, you bother me, and take that girl cowering in the corner with you. Out! I had never heard anything quite like it before, so I'd gone into the farthest corner of the room and waited for the storm to be over. It was too noisy. I was too tired. I didn't much care for the Rodins. And the old man intimidated me. Still, within the walls of 291, there was a feeling of excitement, of discovery. Questions were being asked. Traditions were being challenged. I didn't understand it, but it was different from anything that my teachers had told me. And for that reason, I liked 291. I went back again to see the Matisse exhibit, and it was quite a few years before I saw Stieglitz again. Maybe I was influenced by what I saw there, but I doubt it. Maybe it was just the idea. You pick up things here and there. Maybe it was just me. Blue Ridge Mountains, Charlottesville, Virginia, 1920. 12. My sister Anita and I have hiked up to our favorite picnic spot on Humpback Rocks, taking a break from working at our boarding house, helping our dear sweet mama. Very thoughtful of Sister Ida to let us play hooky. Well, she does handle Mama's coughing fits better than we do. No, Anita, there is no real cure for tuberculosis. Life doesn't seem to be working out the way I thought it would. You too? I don't know what I thought it would be. Smoother, I guess. You dream, and then you do, and then you catch the dream. Well, it's not like that. I ache for New York. Right, and leave the two of you to take care of Mama. What kind of a big sister would I be? Besides, there's no money. Sure, I'll just go off with the next handsome feller that beckons. Oh, but it's the art that beckons more than any possibility of love or lover, but there is this gnawing feeling. You can't make a living doing your art, and I wonder if I'll ever be able to meet my own standards, and it's like this fear is a blanket, some kind of a voodoo blanket that wraps around me and paralyzes me, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna do nothing. I'm gonna stop art. Team. I'm gonna stop arting. Yes, I made up a word. Well, there are things I feel, like the things I saw at 291, but not like them. It's the feeling of them. It's like, oh! And Anita was taking an art class that summer at the University of Virginia. Says, Georgia, I really think you must take Mr. Beeman's class. No. I really think you'd like him. He's weird. No, I don't want to. He's got a different way of seeing things. No. Oh, all right. Now, this teacher, Alan Beeman, was not the greatest teacher in the world, but he had a few good ideas. He taught the methods of Arthur Wesley Dow, the main idea being to fill a space in a beautiful way. Not this is this and only this, but this is what I feel about what I am painting. If I paint a mountain, I'm not painting the mountain. I'm painting how I feel about the mountain. Fill a space in a beautiful way. People, nature, music, affect me in ways that I usually don't have words for. Still, I have the need to express how they make me feel. I started using my art as a language. I had a need to get it out because it meant something to me. And if it means something to someone else, well, they are welcome to it. But what is in their eye is not necessarily what is in mine. Like music. Now, you and I can hear the same piece of music, but we'll feel something different. We'll see something different. Here, I'll show you. Oh, maestro. I've always wanted to do that. You get to do a lot of fun things when you're dead. You'll see. Now, I want everyone to close your eyes. Just close your eyes and listen to the music. Let all the other mess float away. Pay attention to what happens to your body, what images you see, how you feel. I painted lots of music in my time, some from music I heard and some just my own tune. You can take it down now. Thank you. I love music. I think in my next life I'll be a soprano. Oh, you can open your eyes. Now, let's see. What did you see or feel in the music? Water. Wonderful. Water flow. Thank you. And how about you? Well, there you have it. One piece of music, two different feelings. That, my friends, is art. You know, it has always amazed me that the animal known as the critic is paid because it has an opinion. You saw what you saw, they saw what they saw. Now, why should they get paid for what they hear and you don't? I could never make sense of it that way. These claims to authority, you have an ounce of success and everyone wants to claim it as theirs. God forbid you are responsible for your own life. The first time I negotiated my own business myself, Stieglitz had a fit. How dare I have control over my own art? I painted the way I painted, with or without Stieglitz or anyone. Now, sure, I might not have gotten noticed as soon as if Stieglitz had. Alan Beeman complained I never gave him proper credit. Oh, I gave him credit for Pete's sakes. What does he want? He wasn't the greatest teacher in the world. As I said before, he taught a great theory. Oh, I like that funny little man. And to tell you that once I got on that train out of Texas to New York, until the day he died, I was his. Or so he thought. And he was mine once in a while. And that's the way it was with us, always. What a man. Impossible. Horrible. Wonderful. Oh, he could be so wonderful. And cute little mouse shuffling about. So wonderful. The things he could make you feel. The colors he could make you see. And his mind, always working, always seeing through the camera lens, always seeking truth, purity, always feeling. Alfred, wait, where are you going? Oh, no, Alfred, not again. Alfred, put that camera down. You'd think we could do this once in a while and savor it a little. Oh, all right. Oh. I know you do. I was ill and tired when I arrived in New York. Alfred took care of me. I stayed in a room in his niece's house, and he lived in a little dressing room in his wife's house. He lets himself into the room. Sunlight follows. I lean up on one elbow. Well, how are you today? And quick as a crow gobbling up a coveted morsel of bread, his cape is off, and his arms have swept me up. I am dizzy with the whiteness of the room, walls, sheets, coverlets, curtains, your soul, he says. And I hear echoing inside, yes. Is it me, or is it Stieglitz? He brings me food, takes my temperature, brings me news from outside, the art world, war, the streets. And then we go on a trip to other lands and worlds. We dip into deep valleys and climb mountains. I hear music being written inside. Crazy, crazy, yes. I am not a musician. I am a painter. And so I paint the music we make, soft, breathing, ours. Rising with the sun to squeeze every ounce of light from a day to paint, feeling stronger, seeing myself grow stronger on the canvas and through his eyes, through the camera lens, and Alfred, determined to completely catalog a subject, a woman, me. It was our work. When I photograph, he said, I make love. It was as if through the lens, he got right inside me. He wanted hands, arms, head on a pillow in different positions. I was photographed with a kind of heat and excitement. Then he would disappear into the dark room and work his magic. Sometimes he would ask me to help. Slide the paper into the developer. An image begins to appear. Magic. Then he would hang the prints up on a line to dry. This is me. I don't recognize myself. The nudes could be anyone. This is me. What does he see in me that I don't see? Much more than I ever knew existed. They are not myself, more like many different selves, and all works of art, all so beautiful. Is this me, or is this Stieglitz? never needed anyone in the way that I need him. Somehow his belief in me makes me believe in myself. He has a feeling for music, books, and the outdoors that is amazing. He sees shapes and colors different from the ones that I see, and so delicate that I begin to notice more. He makes the shapes and colors I have inside come out. He'll say, yes, do it, go to it. The harder, the better. Insist on your right of way without necessarily disregarding all traffic lights. And if you must disregard even those, I say go ahead full speed. We made no decisions, just took each day as it came. But I was expected back in Canyon to teach for the summer. Georgia, if you could do anything for a year, what would it be? Paint. To do nothing but paint for a year? Oh, what a dream. I enjoy my teaching, but to do nothing but paint for a year. I'll arrange it, he said. And he did. He arranged everything for 1 year. No more struggling through days in a classroom, returning home exhausted to paint by the light of a lamp. No more sacrificing a meal for a necessary tube of paint. For 1 year, my only decisions would be about art. The mess of living would be Alfred's department. All other decisions would be Alfred's. All I had to do was paint. It was fantastic. A marvelous swirl of Stieglitz painting in the mad click of the camera. We'd work and work and work and make ourselves sick with working. And then we'd work some more. Only to be interrupted by the occasional gatherings of the Stieglitz Circle. Artists such as Marsden Hartley, Arthur Dove, Charles Demon. There were some women, but all those men talk for hours, theories batted about. They end the war hundreds of times and start it all over again. Often my paintings are discussed. They are welcome to their opinions. I am amused. Well, really, Alfred, the idea that in order to be a real artist, you have to adhere to some ism. You have to connect to what's happening in Europe, don't you know? Oh, horseshit. I just hope I can create something really vulgar that they would absolutely hate. Then I would feel successful. And then he took me home to meet Ma. Now, it's not that I hate all families. It's just that this one was so excessive. Excessive displays of affection where they were not required. Excessive brothers and sisters and their children, so many of them. There might be 20 at the table. 20 people eating corn on the cob at the same time. Can you imagine that? They fix 4 or 5 times as much food as anyone can handle. Circus time. Oh, no thank you, I like mine without gravy, just plain. Certainly, here you are. Yes, here. No, actually, I found the plains rather peaceful. Thank you, I'm fine. No, thank you. Oh, I was born in Wisconsin. I didn't move to Virginia until later. I don't have any thoughts on styles of painting. Everyone's welcome to whatever they want. As far as the peas are over here, I really don't know. I really don't care. What? Now, what do you want? Oh, what a prize. Well, now show me where that tooth used to be. Oh, what a lovely little cavern. Well, yes, I would very much like to have a little girl like you someday. You ask your Uncle Alfred about that. Oh, really, Alfred? Well, that's the first time I ever heard that. Thank you, Ma, but we can figure this one out for ourselves. Well, Selma, you would think that you have your hands full with your darling little dog. No, it's just something we haven't discussed. For Pete's sake, Alfred is still married. Alfred, well, yes, I do, but we can't very well get married while Alfred is still married to someone else. No, we haven't. Thank you all for your opinion, but this is our decision. not a topic for the legislature of Lake George. That is exactly right. I hate your little dog. Please, this is for us to decide. Now, what? No, Alfred, what did you just say? Never? Now I want to show you something. Flower's perfectly beautiful, don't you think? Simply perfect. You just can't get much better than that. It does what it's meant to do all on its own, without anyone telling what it can or cannot be. It simply is. Well, everyone has many associations with flowers, the idea of flowers. You reach out your hand to touch the flower, lean forward to smell it, maybe touch it with your lips almost without thinking. Or give it to someone to please them. Still, in a way, nobody sees a flower, really. It's so small, and we haven't time. And to see the special gift in a flower takes time. Like to see the special gift in a child takes time. If I painted exactly what I saw of the flower, I would paint it small, like the flower is small. So I said to myself, I'll paint what I see, what the flower is to me. But I will paint it big. And they will be surprised into taking time to look at it. I will make even busy New Yorkers take time to see what I see of flowers. When you take a flower in your hand and really look at it, it becomes a part of you for the moment. I wanted to give that part of me to someone else. The first time Stieglitz saw the flower paintings, he laughed and said, "Well, I wonder what you think you're going to do with those. They're silly, but lovely." We married December something, 1924. It seemed superfluous, but Alfred had been granted his divorce and insisted. I damn well wasn't going to change my name, though. I fought hard to keep it. Why should I take on another person's famous name, huh? In March of 1925, Stieglitz put up an exhibit at the Anderson Galleries in New York called 7 Americans. It was the first time that the flower paintings were exhibited. The critics descended. One long, loud blast of sex, volcanic crateral ethers, outpouring of her feminine self. I think I'll vomit. Well, I made you take time to notice my flower. And when you really took the time to notice my flower, you hung all your own associations with flowers on my flower. And you write about my flower as if I think and see what you think and see of the flower. And I don't. I cannot understand the things that you write about me. You make me sound like some strange, weightless, floaty thing, drifting about in the air, feeding on the clouds for sustenance, when the truth is I like beef steak. Raw. How dare you assume that what is in your eye is what is in mine? To apply those things you wish to apply to my flower paintings is rubbish. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Alfred and I have completed our annual pilgrimage from summer at Lake George to winter in the big city. It was a very fruitful summer for both of us. I did some 40-odd paintings. And Alfred was busy photographing the sky, doing something he said that I'd done before with color, he was doing with light. He'd spend his days chasing after clouds, and once in a while he'd catch one. Equivalents, he calls them. They are stunning, like photographs of breath. Now back in the city, he's all busy with a new gallery he's opened up, the Intimate Gallery. But it's so small, we just call it The Room. We have entered the late 20s. Alfred attracts a brilliant following, the avant-garde circle, which consists of literary mavericks like Waldo Frank, Paul Rosenfeld, D.H. Lawrence, Mabel Dodge Luhan, who has started an artist retreat out in New Mexico and wants to ship us all out there, and the handsome, enigmatic Jean Toomer. I like the talk, but I don't talk much, but I listen hard. There is a compelling conversation about what is the American spirit and how is it embodied in writing and art. I'm sure I don't know. Anita Pulitzer and I are in touch. She's very busy with the Women's National Party and keeps me informed about all things important or amusing. We write. She writes more than I do. I tell her she should be the one to write my biography. She remembers everything. It will be brilliant. It would have been. Oftentimes when one reviews one's life, there is the likelihood that one may bump up against an unresolved Stieglitz is spending all of his time at the gallery. We hardly ever see each other, and I'm particularly busy at this time. It must be so, just now. I am painting the city. I see the city going up, don't you? It goes up away from you. Everyone thinks I'm mad to try because even the men haven't done a good job of it. That surprises them, you know. I think they fail because they don't seem able to comprehend something bigger than themselves, like a building, and so even in their painting, they have to conquer something. I see a personality. Now, to put that onto canvas, there's your challenge. Men look for some kind of a victory over their subject. Well, at the gallery, small as it is, Stieglitz is bombarded with people. People come to see the exhibits, to see him, to talk to him, to ask advice. Oh, he loves it. He needs an audience and to have women, people adore him. He needs people. And I've always found people difficult. Well, Alfred has always been attracted to women, young women. That's just his way. Harmless flirtations. But that Dorothy Norman woman, no, I never liked her from the very beginning. She seemed to me to be someone with a mouthful of hot mush, and why didn't she just swallow it or spit it out? I'm sorry to say that Alfred was very, very foolish with her, but I am not going to go into that because it doesn't matter anymore. Ma has died. You know, out of that whole family, I did like Ma best. That gal had guts and was very, very loyal. She never once disowned any of her children. Turmoil about who will take her places. Captain at the Lake Georgia. None of the sisters want it. Can't do it just like Ma, don't you know? I'll give it to Georgia. She's the organized sort. The rotten responsibility has fallen into my lap through default. Besides the hordes of family on the hill, Alfred invites people up as well. People follow us wherever we go. There's no peace. No peace at all. Oh, Lake George was beautiful land, but it wasn't made for me. So much green, it would make you sick. Alfred, one of your sister's children just called me Aunt Georgia. Well, I slapped the stupid thing and said, don't ever call me Aunt Georgia again. Oh, I don't care. We lived together for 8 years before we were married. I wasn't Aunt Georgia then. What difference does a piece of paper make? I have no right. You won't let me have a child of my own, a family of my own. I will not allow your nieces and nephews to call me aunt. I have had to cut off certain parts of myself to be the woman, no, the artist that you want me to be. Yes, of course you were right. Of course the art would suffer if I was a mother, but Alfred, certain things go deeper than just a want. Desires come from the soul. You have turned me into Lady Macbeth. I have given suck and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from its boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you have done to this. I know that feeling. I know what a woman must go through to get to that point because I have done that. I have killed my babies before conception because I have killed my desire for them. I did it for the art. I did it for you. But you must understand that a certain sensitivity died as well for children, for family things, sweet things, silly things. I have to get out of here. Leave Lake George. I can't spend another summer here. Children running in and out, playing in my paints. That one destroyed canvas. Noise, people, you bring all these people with you. I can't paint. This cannot be a struggle of wills, Alfred. I don't know where I'll go. New Mexico. I don't know. I only know that I must go. What will you do without me? One can only guess. New Mexico. Taos. The sky is so big and the sun so hot. Bakes right through you. Clears all the ugly spots out. I can breathe. My painting is opened up. The colors in the land out here. It's like it's halfway painted for you, you think. And I am having fun. I'm with a fun group of people, eating up a storm, dancing, taking a nip now and then. I've made myself quite at home. I feel like myself. I like it. One perfect day after another, I rise before dawn and kiss the penny moon goodbye. The outline of mountains is so clear-cut when the sun comes up. My colors are deep, purple burgundies, strong blues. Late in the afternoon, I often ride out to the eastern hills, the sun low and warm on my back. Swimming almost in the gray sage that covers the plain and creeps up to the base of the mountain like waves lapping against the shore, or a lover gently gliding against their loved one. A big, wide, quiet space. I understand that many people love Stieglitz. Men and women. and need what he needs to give. You see, I have two jobs, my own work and helping Alfred to function in his own way. And by helping him, sometimes I mean to stay out of his way. What right have I to keep him to myself, huh? If he goes out with a woman, if he sleeps with a woman, it's a little thing. It's only his body. It's an unpleasant sensation, squeezing all the life out of someone. You won't like what's left. I think if I can make it out here once a year, I can survive the rest. And maybe Alfred and I can survive. I gathered bones. I didn't know what I was going to do with them. I just liked them. Very clean, bleached. They sat at one end of my studio. Thought I might do something with them someday, so when I went back east, I shipped the bones back 2 in a barrel, and eventually I got around to working on them. Death. They weren't about death at all. I thought they were rather lively. Sometimes I put those artificial flowers with them. Death, I was having a little fun. Oh, and then you know you can hold them up to the sky. Say a pelvis bone. And there is that marvelous hole. When I was a little girl, I always ate around the hole on the donut, saving the hole for last and best. I painted the sky several times through the pelvis bones. The blue sky, and then after a while that got kind of boring, so I tried different colors, but the blue. They were always most marvelous against that blue. You can't really see it in the east. You must go west if you really want to know the sky. I have chosen to not be destroyed by the things I can't control. There is a curious, triumphant feeling to seeing the darkness of life and marching onward straight through your fear. I am as thankful for my greatest hurts as for my greatest happiness. Have you ever had something, an idea that was sort of unusual, not the kind of thing you could do just anytime, anywhere? Let me just tell you what I'm talking about. In the late 20s, early 30s, there was something I thought exciting happening in the art world. The big movement, big art on big walls. Now, artists were being commissioned to do these big works of art, and sometimes they were doing them just because they felt like it. Anyway, I liked the idea very much. Of course, Stieglitz wanted nothing to do with what he called that Mexican disease called murals. The government liked it, funded a lot of work through the WPA, prompting Stieglitz to call it the democratization of art. I wanted to be a part of this big movement. Specifically, I wanted to do a room. Not a whole building, just a room. The walls, the lights, the textures, make it all play together. Alfred, where are you? Hey, old crow. Oh, you wonderful man, guess what? I've got it. Oh God, I've got it. They want me. They want me to design the walls of the women's lounge for the new radio hall, music hall, city hall. Don't you know what this means? I'm up there with the big boys. I'm real. I'm not a curiosity, the great child pouring out her woman's self on paper, whatever the hell it is you call it. Oh no, Alfred, don't, come on, don't you start. Come on now, be happy for me. No matter what you say, I'm going to do it. So you might as well make it easy on both of us. Look, you've broken your glasses again. Alfred, it doesn't matter whether you say you'll allow it or not. I've already signed the contract. Well, there's a first time for everything. He was furious. Ever since we had been together, he had always negotiated my contracts. "Selling out," he screamed. "Next you'll be painting latrines in national parks. A measly $1,500, I could have gotten more than what you've got. You've destroyed your market value, all my efforts for nothing, blah, blah, blah." I ignored him. And when I couldn't, I pretended to. I wanted this job. Alfred rallied his troops to his side, and they started in on me. Family, friends, acquaintances, the Shelton doorman. No one wanted me to do the Radio City Music Hall project except me. Well, I went ahead with it, but I could feel him in his black cape, like a hungry black crow sitting on a fence waiting for the first sign of weakness to pounce. I put everything I had into it, cut short my trip to New Mexico that year. It wasn't a job, it was a battle of wills. And we both pulled out the heavy artillery. He opened a new gallery, an American place. He needed a secretary. She was there constantly, just like at the Room. She found donations to secure the rent. Alfred put the lease in her name. She published a book of essays for his 70th birthday called America and Alfred Stieglitz. He gave her photography lessons Alfred never taught. Dorothy Norman was a beautiful woman, a beautiful young woman. Beautiful young, talentless, moreless, parasitic woman. Well, sometimes you have to call them as you see them. When you love someone, you must love all of them, even if it makes you nuts. Well, I made my decision about the situation a long time ago. Alfred was just being himself. We never even discussed it. Why bother? Oh, let me read to you his handwritten invitation for the opening of an American place. You see, the Museum of Modern Art was opening up about the same time, and Alfred was disgusted at all the hoopla that went on with it, the galas, parties, press. This is how he retaliated, with his handwritten invitation. All of the invitations were handwritten. Opening of an American place. No formal press reviews, no cocktail parties, no special invitations, no advertising, no isms, no theories, no game being played, nothing asked of anyone who comes, no anything on the wall except what you see there. The doors of an American place are ever open to all. Get a load of that. And then he started photographing her. What? No, nothing's wrong with me. Why do you ask? Look, you old crow. If you want to go to Cape Cod for 3 weeks, no, don't give it a second thought. You don't need my permission. You know I work better in solitude anyway. No, don't give it a second thought. What? All right. You missed a button. Don't forget your hat. Close the door, please. And give Mrs. Norman my regards. Delay after delay. Radio City Music Hall was cursed with construction problems from the start. Finally, 6 weeks before the rescheduled opening, I leave the hill to begin painting the women's lounge. Mr. Deskey, I understand that the walls of the women's lounge are all primed and ready to go. Well, of course I'd like to see it. Come on, I want someone to share it all. Oh, look at that. How beautiful, lovely. Oh, look at the play of light on that curve. This is going to be a lot of fun, even though we haven't got much time.
Oh my God. What's happening? What's going on?
What don't you understand? That the canvas is pulled away from the wall. A mistake? No, you idiot. No, you ass. 6 weeks and you expect someone to work under these conditions? 6 weeks and the plaster isn't even dry? No, I have been more than patient with you, Mr. Deskey. How many delays has it been, Deskey? 2, 3, 5? No. This is it. You cannot do this. You cannot do this to me. Why is this happening? Why is this happening to me? Damn you, Stieglitz. You've done it again, haven't you? Yes, it is you. Or is it me? No. He has done this again. How does he do it? In so many ways, I'm this little plant he found, put in good soil, watered, fed, nurtured. And then this. The old fool. Numbness. Noises bother me. I can't stop crying, and I haven't felt like this since Mama died. No, don't come near me. I can't be near him. I move in with my sister. There's something I have to. Is it me or is it? No, I just need sleep. They take me to doctors and doctors. Midlife crisis says one. Cancer says another. Heart trouble. No, I can't have that. Stieglitz says that. Test. Hospitals. Psychiatrists. I don't need analysis. I know what's wrong with me. I just need time and rest. I need to get away from the noise. I go to Bermuda and bake in the sun. I go to Maine and roll around the shore. Rest a long time. Do nothing, can't. I feel empty, transparent. I've lost something. I can't see colors. Perhaps I'll go back to Lake George, paint the kitchen walls. That kitchen has excellent plaster. It is winter. In winter, we go to the big city, but Alfred is there now, so I retreat here to the hill. He knows I can't be near him now, and I know that he is frantically desperate about my condition, as he is helpless to fix me. So he sends our friend Jean Toomer up to stay with me. Jean is also hurting, healing, a year after his wife, Marjorie Latimer, died in childbirth. She was exceptional, a beautiful writer and a better friend than I'll ever be. We talk very little. He's all busy writing a new novel, and I do nothing, can't, so I know he sends missives to Alfred, requested reports per my condition, keeps to her bed. Quiet today. Today was a good day, in good spirits. Nice to have him about in the big quiet house on the hill. Then, maybe it's the spirit of Yuletide or something about Jean, perhaps. We start to talk more. Lovely, long conversations about nothing.
everything. I am drawn to him, and this spirit of restlessness that we both share, it attracts me and separates me. Stieglitz dares to come for Christmas. He asked Jean about his writing. It's been a decade since he wrote Cain, which helped ignite the Harlem Renaissance, but Jean will not rest on those coattails saying, I am of no particular race. To which Alfred responds, how inconvenient. You can't market that. Jean looks to me, and in that moment, we both share a silent kinship. Alfred must see, sense. He departs the next day, leaving us alone, a weird sort of consent. Is this Alfred's attempt to assuage his guilt? Does he think what cures the gander will cure the goose? He sweeps out the front door, his cape flapping insecurely behind. The door slams. Calm, tranquility, quiet returns. The snow falls fast, and we are alone in our own little world. Suddenly, quietly, my days seem precious. A gift from Jean, I think. You have given me this beautiful sense of balance. Thank you. I like the feel of you, your maleness. There is a part of me that wants nothing more than to be held tightly and hotly to you, but somehow in the possibility that we could come together, and this surprises me, I no longer want a little of something. I only want what I can have completely. All of it. Myself included. Jean leaves, unsatisfied. I miss him. And yet, I have never felt more ready to live and work. I love my work. I just love it. I don't paint just to paint. I paint when I have something to say. And I wait until I have it all worked out in my head. You don't waste so much paint that way. You have to paint your world as if you are the first person looking at it. I'm just beginning to sense the center of myself, a plot of warm, moist, well-tilled earth with the sun shining hot on it. If my life has taught me anything, it is that I must tend to this center with absurd care by myself first. And if I am to let anyone else in, it must be with their thinking very carefully and responsibly. I don't think I could survive it being wrecked again just now. I am divided. One side of me is my man and a life with him, we are inextricably connected. I put up with a great deal of contradictory nonsense because, well. And the other side of me is my life out there, New Mexico. I wish I could kiss the sky. You laugh, but I'm crazy in love with the sky out there. And crazy in love with that man. And so the only way to live is to make peace with this divided self the best way I can. How are you doing, old crow? Oh, give me your hand. You know something, Alfred? Every once in a while, I look and I see your age and it startles me. I never thought much about the difference in our ages before. Well, it never made a difference before. You are so important to so much that has made my world for me. Oh, you know that, do you? Well, then you must know that I have to keep on going. New Mexico calls, as you say. It's very difficult to leave you this time. Of course I'll come back. I always come back, you goose. Yes, I'll come back and it will be Stieglitz and O'Keefe. Yes, my love, we are a team. Out in Espanola doing the shopping. Telegram, handed to me. Stieglitz fallen, heart again. I drove straight to the airport. I flew to him. The first time I went out to New Mexico, I learned how to drive. Wrote Stieglitz about it. He was annoyed, of course, because now it meant that he had to learn how to drive. But just about that time, he discovered flying. A neighbor would take him up and then, oh, don't you know we were so slow with our automobiles? That first time away from him was so important. I'd never been away from him for so long. When I came back, seeing him for the first time in 4 months, I thought, he is the most beautiful thing in the world. Look at him. Nothing else exists but my funny little Stieglitz. Oh, look at you. You are simply the grandest thing in the world. How on earth was I ever able to stay away from you for so long? I took his ashes to Lake George, buried them beneath the roots of his favorite tree, and never told the family where. That caused a pretty fuss. I put him where he could hear the lake. Well, dear friend, you're at peace now, huh? Is it true what they say? Horseshit, right? Well, you're at home. The lake, the trees, clouds, equivalents, all near you. No, I won't be near you. I wasn't near you when you needed me, and I sure as hell won't be coming back here. We will not fool ourselves. We were not a match made in heaven. How the hell did we make it this far? Your life was art. And my life is art. You live for art's sake, and I live for my art's sake. I'm not half as giving or capable as you. I can't conceive of anyone else's needs, only my own, and you can only see what was best for the art. It was never another person I had to compete with, was it? It was the art. But I can't be angry at art. I can be angry at people. So, now I must go on alone, huh? Now I don't have a choice. Who's going to tell me if I'm good or not? Who's going to give me an excuse for not being able to paint? And what does it mean if you're not here? You know something, Old Crow? You filled the space in a beautiful way. I guess you deserve a rest. I remember you once said, life is very wonderful, amazingly so. Why not affirm? Why ever deny? Denying is too easy, too simple. Affirming is living, truly living. And then off he flew, high and black against the sky with his wings outspread, embracing the blue. A big black bird, forever flying, forever there, forever going away. Was it Stieglitz? Was it me? Yes, life went on after Alfred died. For years and years without him, good, long, productive years. And why the hell am I standing here alone, dangling at the end of a question mark? I know who I am. Don't you see, when you share a life with someone, there is this thing that no one else can know because no one else can see. Yeah? An overlapping of each other, edge over edge, seamless, so you can't tell where one starts and the other ends. Do you know? An entity separate from the two of you, but the two of you must take very good care of it and respect it. Because sometimes it is as soft as a Lake George cloud, as fiery as an Abiquiu sunset, or as vicious as both of your fears rolled into one. It's the very best and the very worst of both of you. It is the sum of the two. It's me and it's him. Take care of that thing you have together. But keep a little something for yourself as well.